I'll never forget it. Teenage kid, Silver City, New Mexico, working out of town with my uncles, and Oscar De La Hoya was fighting in my hometown of El Paso. At the time, Oscar De La Hoya was starting to become the big name in boxing. Undefeated at the time. And the fight was on HBO, not pay-per-view. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget one of my uncles laughing and saying, "Oh, what a disgrace. De La Hoya is killing the sport. I mean, we were going from pay-per-view to HBO. What's next? Fox?" I'll never forget, the day he said that. Ever. Because although at the time I didn't think much of it, I probably even laughed, because I kind of had the same concept in my head. But as I grew older and as I think back at that, I wondered to myself, who convinced boxing fans that a fight has to be on pay-per-view for a fight to be a big fight? Who put it in boxing fans' heads that a fight needs to be pay-per-view for a fight to be worth a damn? Who convinced boxing fans? They literally brainwashed us to believe that unless a fight is pay-per-view, a fight isn't worth shit. Not to mention that some of the biggest fights in the history of the sport were for free, whether it was a radio or TV. Muhammad Ali was watched for free all over the world. So this idea of pay-per-view, basically, it's an extension of basically selling a cheap seat ticket, right, to more people. That's basically what it is. So let's say you sell 25,000 tickets in an arena. You sell another 100,000 to people at home. You're basically selling more tickets. That's basically what it is. It's an extension of an arena, basically. All this started with closed circuit, and once homes, cable, satellite TV especially, once they were able to put pay-per-view on your television, have it just a remote control order away. In all reality, pay-per-view didn't bring up the prestige of boxing. It didn't make boxing more prestigious. It's because I think back to that comment, like, we're no longer on pay-per-view. We're on freaking HBO. Ugh. What's next? Fox? CBS? Ugh. Now, when in our reality, getting away from the local stations, the networks, that are free for everybody to watch, is in the long run what really hurt boxing. It hurt boxing at a macro scale. At a micro level, it helped certain individuals become millionaires and make a lot of money. But when you look at the big picture, it hurt boxing as a whole. And it was something else, I was just thinking. Thurman Porter on CBS. A welterweight title fight. 2 top 5 welterweights going at it. Was on free TV. It wasn't that long ago where the thought of that was practically a dream. That's what it was. Nobody really thought it was ever going to happen. Sure, like Oscar De La Hoya mentioned it, and but did they ever really do anything to make it happen? We need to now rewire our minds. We need to rewire our mindset. All right? We need to rewire that mindset. A fight does not need to be pay-per-view to be a big fight. The biggest sporting events in the sport in the world are not on pay-per-view. Okay? So this thought that being on pay-per-view makes you large, pay-per-view benefits very few people. Very few. It benefits very few individuals. A handful. It doesn't benefit many people whatsoever. Right? Yeah, they have they have sponsors for pay-per-views, but I'm telling you right now, if boxing was really, really big, it'd be on network TV like the Super Bowl. Because the Super Bowl, what it brings in advertisements, it doesn't need pay-per-view. Because if they put the Super Bowl on pay-per-view, it would break all pay-per-view records, but it probably wouldn't make the amount of money it makes in commercial advertising. Right? And far less people would watch it. And in turn, not helping the growth of the sport. The same with the World Cup. If they put the World Cup final on pay-per-view all over the world, it would smash in 10 minutes any boxing pay-per-view record, right? So, but it wouldn't make the amount of money it generates, being what it is. And it wouldn't help it in the long run either. Boxing hurt itself through this pay-per-view model. It hurt itself bad. I mean, you have fighters that just out of pride, Mayweather versus Berto, people keep saying it's not a pay-per-view fight. It wasn't a good fight. Okay, it just wasn't. But Mayweather could have done that fight on CBS. You know why he didn't do it? Out of pride. That's why he didn't do it. Because in his mind, going on CBS is like a fucking downgrade. Okay? That mindset needs to go. Alright? It just needs to. That mindset is not in any way, shape, or form. Right? It's not helping. It's not a good thing. Okay? We need to let go of that mindset. With boxing now being on network TV, I would rather the popularity of the sport grow. There's a lot of individuals out there like, God, the PBC, blah, blah. It's just like they just want it to fail just because it's Al Heyman. And, look, whatever, all right? But all I'll say is this. I don't care if it's Al Heyman. I don't even care if it's Bob Arum. I don't give a shit who it is. Right? But big fights on network TV is what boxing needs. Okay? That's what boxing needs. The day Joshua fights Wilder, that shit should not be on Showtime. They need to put that shit on CBS. Because even now they're like doing it. Like, they're starting to get away from it, but they're still doing it. They still do it. They still, it's like, they kind of try and give us this perception that Showtime is like more prestigious than CBS. Like CBS gives us NFL football on Sundays afternoons. Like, what are we talking about? Right? You know what Showtime gives us? They give us Inside the NFL, which is, I like the show, but it's not the game. Showtime should be like a VIP access type shit. That's what premium TV should be. Showtime and HBO should be giving us the up and coming prospects. All right? It shouldn't. All right? That's just, you know how like there's these big shows here on YouTube that have like their show on YouTube and then they'll have like VIP exclusive shit. That's kind of how boxing should be. The big fights should be on network TV. That should be the big stage. just like it is in football, just like it is in the NBA, just like it like you never hear them say like, "Oh, we're gonna have the NBA Finals on, on ESPN because ABC really network TV." Ugh, like you just don't hear that. You never hear like, "Oh, we're totally gonna have the Super Bowl on, on pay-per-view or on ESPN because we can't have the Super Bowl on freaking network TV." Like, who the fuck does boxing think it is to like look down on the networks? When the networks give us everything from when the World Cup comes around, that shit's on network TV when the U.S. plays, right? So get the fuck out of here. Like boxing fans have been brainwashed to think the opposite. Pay-per-view should be for fights that the networks don't want, that boxing fans are willing to pay on the side. That's what pay-per-view should be. HBO and Showtime should be like kind of VIP access shit for for boxing fans when they want to watch the up and coming prospects, or something like that. And fucking network TV should be where it's at. We got this shit backwards, right? Like this is insane. We got it the other way around, man. This shit is crazy. It's nuts, right? It just is. And it just got me thinking, man. And of course, it's gotten me thinking since the PBC started to kick off. And look, I've been critical of the PBC. Some of their matchups have been dumb, right? But, I mean, you got to give them credit when it's due, too. The CBS team was pretty good. But I'm tired of, like, the PBC, like, or Showtime fights being looked at as more prestigious, or it just seems to me, right? Like, I honestly think Mayweather like dropped the ball when he didn't fight on CBS. I honestly think he dropped the ball. First of all, they should have known that Barrett fight was going to sell shit, all right? For what he got paid, it wasn't a success, right? But if they just lost money with that shit, that they should have, if they were going to take a loss, an L, they should have put Floyd Mayweather, PBC. Al Heyman should have sat him down and been like, if you do this, PBC will fucking whatever, and you're still going to get paid. You're guaranteed. Like, it's just, it would have been big. I'm telling you, you'd have had at least, I know this sounds crazy, but at least 20 million people watching that shit, right? And you could have put a good undercard, and it would have been a pretty big event, I know a lot of people are like, nah, no way. Like, yeah. Okay, look, Porter, like, Thurman did what, under 3 million? Right? And more people bought Mayweather Pacquiao, okay, than watched Thurman Porter for free. Okay, just think about that for a moment. That is amazing, right? So, with some of these big fighters, man, the type of viewers they would get, and just think about how big that would be. But anyway, I'm just saying, if Pacquiao, like Pacquiao Bradley, that shit should have been on free TV. That would be huge on free TV. Pacquiao Bradley 3 on ABC or some shit. Could you imagine? Like, that would have been awesome. That would have been great. But no, it's just we got it opposite. Boxing fans have been convinced that it's the other way around. We've been convinced that if it's free on TV, it ain't shit. And if you want me to be honest, one of the reasons the PBC doesn't get higher ratings is because of that. Do you know how many people I told, like, you got to watch this fight on PBC? And this is just an anecdotal example, but still. You know how many people I told, and they were just like, well, what is it on? It's on CBS? They looked at me like, a fight on CBS? Like, really? Yeah. Shit's insane. Like, really? And then, like, HBO and Showtime, they do us no favors. You know why? Let me tell you why. Whenever I go to a bar here, a lot of sports bars, they'll just put random shit like whatever sport is on. It's hockey, baseball, whatever. They'll put it on TV. You know how many Saturday nights there was no big UFC fight, or anything like that, and there was nothing really big going on in the sport world, and everybody's just kind of there. When a fight's on HBO or Showtime, they can't air those fights, at a bar because it's HBO and Showtime. They don't have rights to show that. They can't. Because they're the whatever it is, the licensing or whatever for premium movie channels, because they're movie channels. They're not allowed to play at sports bars. So, in most cases, but so it doesn't help. Like on network TV, they could put that shit on. Bars that don't want to pay like a bill every month, like stuff like that for cable or satellite TV. Those hole on the wall bars or whatever, like they'll put on a fucking fight on TBS. They'll just do it. Shit like that can help. The sport grow, man. It really can. HBO and Showtime did boxing a big disservice by taking it out of the bar scene. Plus, and then when they are pay-per-view, bar owners, a lot of times they don't want to take the fucking hit. They don't want to take the risk. They don't want to pay what that fucking fight costs. They just don't. But anyway, DStyleBoxing, tell me what you think. Okay, enough of this. Is he a pay-per-view attraction? Fuck that. We need to change our mindset.